Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On the 24th day of April 2023, and welcome back to your favorite Angry Canadian. Starting out a little bit different today because holy crap, I've got big breaking news. I couldn't believe it, but you know, when you see what's happening in the media, and I'm talking about the fake news, the corporate news, the Democrat news media, even to some point the Republican news media, I couldn't believe that Tucker Carlson is no more. Fox announced on Monday that the network and its primetime anchor, Tucker Carlson, have mutually agreed to end their association after more than a decade. Mutually agreed? Yeah, I think they were telling him, you can't be telling people the truth. That's very un-American. You gotta lie to them. You gotta fool them. You gotta BS them. You gotta tell them that Russia's the big evildoer. It wasn't America that blew up the pipeline. Fox News Media and Tucker Carlson have agreed to part ways, adding that Carson aired his final show last Friday. Man, you know, I was waiting for it today already. The network provided no reason for the sudden departure of Carson. And again, I can tell you, he's telling the truth. He has the biggest audience. And as that, it scares the shit out of the people in control.
The Nord Stream pipeline was one of the most important pieces of infrastructure in the world. It supplied energy to our NATO allies in Western Europe. It helped Western Europe continue. And then it blew up. Who blew it up? Well, the Biden administration had promised to blow it up, and then it exploded. And afterwards, the White House and the media claimed Russia did it. Russia, they blew up their own pipeline! Victoria Nuland at the State Department, a truly sinister figure, admits she's very pleased the pipeline is gone. Well, none of this makes any sense. Obviously, the Biden administration blew it up. There's really no doubt about that. But Democrats are sticking with the lie that, no, Russia did it. We thought we'd ask Jimmy Dore who he thinks did it. He's the host of the Jimmy Dore Show. He joins us now. Jimmy Dore, thanks so much for coming on. So it seems obvious the Biden people did it, but in doing it, they not only caused this massive environmental catastrophe, but they also shafted their so-called NATO allies. Why does no one seem to care about this?
Well, Americans well, people forget what happened is Americans are the most propagandized people in the world, right?
Yes, that's
and they don't
true.
even know what's happening with the Nord Stream pipeline. They think that propaganda happens to other people. So this is 100% propaganda war. And why doesn't Joe Biden want to investigate this? Why doesn't Congress want to investigate this? If they investigate it, they'll know it'll show that the United States didn't do it and Russia did it. So why don't they want to investigate it? Sweden, Denmark, and Norway already did their own investigation of this. They won't release it. Why won't they release this investigations? Just like they don't want to investigate the cause of the coronavirus outbreak. They don't want to know the answers. They don't want to investigate them because they already know the answers. You know, America is turned into, Chris Hedges has called the America a mafia state. A tiny cabal of people have control of our government and they're using it to do war for economic profit. You know, the difference between our mafia state now back then, the mafia helped defeat the Nazis back then. Now we're actually arming Nazis. You know, and isn't it just like America to ignore the Nazis that are suffering here at home trying to buy eggs while we fund Nazis in other countries? It's unbelievable what's happening. This is really about World War III. And why aren't they investigating it? No, they won't even ask them a question. You know, Cy Hirsch's article came out detailing how they all blew up the Nord Stream pipeline. And the American press won't even ask the people he named in that article a question about it. They won't ask Victoria Nuland. They won't ask Jess Sullivan. They won't ask Anthony Blinken. In fact, those people won't even give a statement about it. You know who will talk about it? Kirby, the press secretary at the White House. Because I'm sure the people who did the investigations have a pipeline right to Kirby, but not to Anthony Blinken, not to Sullivan, not Victoria Nuland. By the way, these are the same people who lied us into the Iraq war, lied to us about Libya, lied to us about Syria, dropped so many bombs in Syria they ran out of bombs. They're doing the same thing. America is the world's terrorist. We have 400 military bases surrounding China. We provoked this by people don't know that the CIA got in bed with the right-wing Nazis in Ukraine to overthrow the democratically elected government of Ukraine in 2014. We had a peace deal. It was called the Minsk Accord. And then they violated. Who violated it? Ukraine kept shelling the Donbass, which are the Russian speakers in the eastern part of the Ukraine. And that's why Putin had to be provoked to invade to protect those people. Nobody will tell you that. Everybody who talks about every other news station, by the way, you're the only one doing this. And I applaud you for letting people come out and tell the truth about what's actually happening in Ukraine. Other stations, when I watch, what they do is they start the history of Ukraine from Putin's invasion. They never tell you that we overthrew their democratically elected government in 2014. They never tell you that they didn't stop shelling the people in the Donbass. They never abided by the Minsk Accord. They don't tell you that the former German prime minister said that the reason why they did the Minsk Accords in the first place was so that Ukraine could build up their military to get ready for this war that they're provoking. So the American people are waking up. There was a big... Okay. Anyway, I'll leave it there.
You sound like a Putin shill, Jimmy Dore. This is the most propagandized country in the world. It makes me sad to agree with you, but I do. Jimmy Dore, thank you so much.
Okay, I gotta be brief about this, but in our Western world, telling the truth will get you punished. While if you lie, you're going to make a lot of money.
Instead of the vaccine being able, it means instead of the virus being able to hop from person to person to person to person, spreading and spreading, sickening some of them, but not all of them. And the ones that it doesn't sicken don't know they have it. And then they give it to even more people because they didn't recognize they were, right? Instead of the virus being able to hop from person to person to person, potentially mutating and becoming more virulent and drug resistant along the way. Now we know that the vaccines work well enough that the virus stops with every vaccinated person. That the virus stops with every vaccinated person. That the virus stops with every vaccinated person. A vaccinated person gets exposed to the virus. The virus does not. That the virus stops with every vaccinated person. That the virus stops with every vaccinated person. A vaccinated person gets exposed to the virus. The virus does not infect them. The virus cannot then use that person to go anywhere else. It cannot use a vaccinated person as a host to go get more people. That means the vaccines will get us to the end of this.
That used to be that the media was the primary place that people would go to find out what's going on in the world. But now the media conveniently leaves out anything that it doesn't want to be at the front and center in terms of like things that people concentrate on and talk about. You know, all it is like January 6th. January 6th. Did you see what they did? January 6th. Trump is coming back, but January 6th looms large. How about the fact that the guy who's the president right now can't form a fucking sentence? He makes up words and stumbles through things, and no one says a goddamn thing about it.
Remember when they tried to take Joe Rogan down because he was telling the truth in regards to the vaccination he had, and how CNN labeled it as animal horse medicine. They tried to knock him out. 100 million, I think, is the people that are watching him or listening to him. But Tucker Carlson had another thing coming up. May 1st, he was going to have a Tucker Carlson original. Oh, Canada, what's happened to us? Two faces have Oh, yeah, there he is again. You know, to be quite honest, I have very little hope for the Western nations. People, that's what it's about. But so many have been indoctrinated, brainwashed. It's happening to the kids in school. It's happening in universities. And it's happening through the media all the time. It's, I'm not going to say it's hopeless, but I sure the hell don't feel any hope. And I watch George Galloway. I watch Redacted. Jimmy Dore, obviously, and Russell Brand, and Redacted, and all of these truth sayers on the internet. But one by one, they're trying to pick them off. Like Joe Rogan almost went. He nailed CNN a good one, though, but you got to fight to tell the truth, while lying is acceptable, wanted, approved. I don't know what the hell it is, but lying seems to be the thing. And now they're not even hiding the fact that they lie. I have no confidence in anything that politicians or the fake media print or talk or show or whatever.
President Trump, we're talking about race right now, and I do want to stay on the issue of race. President Trump,
I have to respond to that.
Please,
because look,
very quickly.
There are 50 former national intelligence folks who said that what he's accusing me of is a Russian plan. They have said that this has all the 5 former heads of the CIA, both parties, say what he's saying is a bunch of garbage. Nobody believes it except his and his good friend Rudy Giuliani.
You mean the laptop is now another Russia hoax?
And that's exactly what.
Is this where you're
exactly
going?
what
This is
told.
where he's going. The laptop is Russia,
Gentlemen,
Russia.
I want to stay on the issue of race.
You have to be kidding. Here we go again with Russia.